time for movies on rock and roll football. It's Meet Me in the Foyer with Linda Marrick and Jawa.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
Join us and the colourful cast of characters in our cinematic community this week and meet me in the foyer as we rub shoulders with artists, rebels, gangsters, immortal men, monsters, brides and wild animals. And joining us to communicate with this collection of creatures is our very own captive critic, Linda Marrick. How are you doing, Linda?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, yes. I don't know if it's the weather finally drying up and a little bit of sunshine, but feeling pretty good, I have to say.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
I assume you've been busy as always?
Very busy. This week's mentor has been like, I've just been to so many screenings. Yesterday I did 4 screenings all in all. So
Wow.
I am absolutely exhausted. And the day before I actually saw Project Hail Mary that I've been looking forward to for so long.
Fantastic.
It's embargoed for a review, but I mean, I think from the reactions you might have seen out there, I think it's a yes rather than a no.
Excellent. We look forward to a review in coming weeks then. I don't think I've ever watched 4 films in a day. I've definitely done 3, but we really started well.
I've done 5 at festivals, and I think 5 is my limit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Start to lose track of what happens in all the stories and reality. But what are you bringing us this week, Linda?
This week, I'm going to be reviewing the new movie by Maggie Gyllenhaal called The Bride, starring Jessie, Buckley and Christian Bale. And then I will be reviewing the sort of standalone movie, the Peaky Blinders movie that's being released by Netflix. It's actually getting a theatrical release as well as it'll be streaming in a couple of weeks' time. I wish it was in cinemas for longer, as I won't repeat myself because I'm at the risk of turning into an old fuddy-duddy who was always repeating the same thing. So it will be released in cinemas for a bit.
Fantastic. And
I would also be mentioning an animation that I absolutely loved, which is it won't be a full review, but I would like to mention an animation called Hoppers by Disney Pixar animation studio, and fabulous.
Wonderful. Wow, an extra treat. Looking forward to it. So I suppose if any film is suited to streaming, it's a TV movie, but we'll get to that, I think, when you do your review, I'm sure. And there'll be mention of streaming in the news later in the show.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll bring you a classic movie review and some news and the box office top 10. So it's time for artistry to give way to commerce as we take a look at that previously mentioned box office top 10.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
So, the box office top 10 as it stands, as we record, at 10, it's The Testament of Anne Lee. It was reviewed by Linda on last week's show on its first week of release, which is...
not doing too badly. I thought people wouldn't really gel with that. I mean, it's in the top 10, which is more than they were expecting, I'd say. For a film like that, which is a very strange movie, to even be in with a sort of, to be in the top 10 is great. I think it probably won't be there again next week. So
yes, I think that's a wise statement. Above it is Pegasus 3, a Chinese comedy, and then above that, number 8, is The Audience, National Theatre Live. That's a broadcast of Helen Mirren playing Elizabeth II from 2013, which I can't recall where I saw it, but I saw a piece on that recently, and it does look excellent, I have to say.
No, nothing about that at all.
Very good play, I have to say. It's she plays the Queen meeting at least 7, I think, as it is, prime ministers over her lifetime as the Queen.
Do you know who's the writer for that at all?
Oh no, I don't recall.
I will look it up. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that, actually, to be honest.
I think that'd be worth a watch, absolutely. Above that, at number 7, it's Zootropolis 2, the mainstay of the charts this year. It's 14 weeks now in the top 10, and it's made 36 million. And I think we've all seen it, and we've all said as much as we can about that for now. It might even be replaced next week by another Pixar film, another Disney film, I should say. At number 6, the award-nominated and highly rated Secret Agent, which is what's that made now? £754,000, and you can find Linda's review on a previous show.
Fabulous movie, and I'm so happy to see it still, in the top 10 and with people. As I said yesterday, last week, it did have a bit of an ambitious opening, which is like over 100 cinemas around the country, which is very unusual for a not in the English language movie, and I really admire the decision to go to go with that, because I think it's really important for those kind of movies to be seen. And Wagner Moura is a really popular actor, people really like him, and he's been not just from Narcos, he's also in some really good movies, English-speaking movies. So yeah, I think it's impressive that it's doing so well.
I absolutely agree, absolutely. Above that is another one that you can find reviewed by Linda on a previous show. It's Crime 101. It's on its 3rd week of release, and it's now made 3.7 million. And still haven't seen it yet, so still feeling slightly sad inside, but it will happen. It will happen.
What number is it at?
Number 5.
Oh, good. And how much has it taken so far?
Just under 4 million. So,
good. Yeah, I'm very pleased. Yeah.
But taking far more, because there seems to be more kids going to the cinema these days than adults. It's Goat. In its 3rd week of release, it's taken nearly 12 million at the box office.
Oh, good. It's a good movie,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can't deny it. Above that, a new entry. It's Epic, or Elvis Live in Concert, on its 1st week of release. That's taken just under 2 million. The new documentary from Baz Luhrmann, which sounds amazing.
Shame to say that I have not seen it. I was invited to a screening, but I wasn't going to review it just yet. So I will catch it when it comes to streaming. Despite me saying we have to see films in cinemas, I just didn't have the time to catch it because I was very busy last week.
Can't see them all, Linda. Can't see them all. You have to move into the cinema. Above that, at number 2, it's Wuthering Heights, on its 3rd week of release. That's made just under 21 million now. And of course, that's Emerald Fennell's adaptation or reimagining of Wuthering Heights, starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi.
Just goes to show that critics, know absolutely nothing. I mean, I reviewed it favourably, but as I keep saying, if people are going to see it, our opinion is pointless. We're just here to sort of to steer you towards films that might not get seen. A film like Wuthering Heights was always going to make shitloads of money. So.
True. And further proof of that, at number 1, as reviewed by Linda on last week's show, it's Scream 7, inevitably topping the charts with just under 4 million at the box office this week.
This is the moment where the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
Scott, why are you calling me?
It's not Scott. You're going to die tonight.
This killer has been planning his attack for years. Me protecting her from this, I made her vulnerable to it.
You destroyed your own children's lives, just like our mother did.
Do you ever worry your daughter could become a target?
Is your mom gonna let you out of your cage tonight?
This isn't gonna stop unless I stop it. If you hurt her, I'll fucking end you.
Tina, shoot him now! Do it now!
Scream. Surprise, Cindy. It's showtime, bitch. Only in theater and special previews Thursday at 7 p.m. Get tickets now.
So, what can you do?
To add to that, go watch better movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And perhaps those better movies will be coming up in Linda's reviews shortly.
Just a quick aside, I would like to say that I have had the biggest amount of backlash and hate mail and people inboxing me about my review of Scream 7, saying that I am not a serious critic. How dare I give it a 2 out of 5? How dare I even mention Melissa Barrera's name and say that she should have stayed? How dare I even speak badly of it? As a fan of of the whole franchise, I am a huge fan of these movies. I have been for many years, or 30 years, from the first one. For them, nothing gives me more pleasure than seeing a really good Scream movie. If it's not good, I'm not going to lie and say it's good, just to please the fandom.
Yeah.
So don't bother sending me hate mail. And it's not the review that I did here, it's my review that I did, the print review I did for Hey You Guys, and because they go straight onto Rotten Tomatoes, so people feel emboldened to send me their hate. It was just horrific. I don't really care. I've done this job for long enough that I have I've been called worse by better people, seriously. So it's and more sort of more articulate people. And it's not going to make me want to review the movie more favorably. So you're wasting your bloody time. Don't inbox me. Don't harass me. Don't write literally someone wrote a whole post about it, or like a whole sort of web post about it, calling me all sorts. I don't care. I literally don't give two shits about your opinion. I'm doing my job. If the film is no good, I am going to say that it's no good. There you go.
Well, right on, Linda. Yeah, don't be picking on Linda just because she has opinions and has the education and experience to back it up. I think if someone could write a well thought out riposte, then fair enough. That sort of judges the film, but don't be judging our critics.
I'm really well known for never really deliberately trying to sort of go against the movie just on vibes, as people say. I'm really I don't like giving bad reviews. Genuinely, if I could give good reviews to every single movie, I would do that. I really genuinely, people can see my record, and if something is really, really terrible, I'd rather not review it than give it a bad review. But I was commissioned to review this movie, and I had to be honest. And that's it. If you don't like it, go read other people's reviews that are positive. Nobody, as far as I know, no respected film critic has given this a good review. So That's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. So let's move on.
Yeah. No, you find some very strange folk in film franchise fandom. So yeah. That's the box office top 10 for this week, and an interesting aside as well. Thank you very much.
Meet me in the foyer.
So it's review time, and Linda brings us a film adding another tally to the 469 known feature films inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This version was brought to life through the direction of Maggie Gyllenhaal and stars Jessie, Buckley and Christian Bale, engaged in monster madness in The Bride.
Can anybody help me? 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 Please. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this! Please. Help. Help. What happened?
You had an accident.
An accident, huh?
We dug you up. Then we brought you back to life.
Get on stage, and I call her by her first name.
What do you want with a dead girl?
I'm the same. Born from the dead. I am a monster.
Yeah, so am I.
This world is a black hole.
The corrupt are going to see life is here and it's coming to you from the monsters.
Yes! Yes!
Everybody dance! Everybody sing! Everybody move!
Please don't hurt me, please. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? Did you do something wrong? Something you thought you might get away with?
Stop right there!
Screaming my name. The dead have got something to say. And I'm saying it.
The bride of Frankenstein.
No, just the bride. Scared?
Linda.
The Bride! Exclamation point! And we all know what happened to the last movie with an exclamation point, which was Mother. So, this is, as you said, a kind of reimagining of the Mary Shelley. It's more for a reimagining of The Bride of Frankenstein of anything else, rather than Frankenstein. Directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, much loved actress, brilliant actress, and actually a quite good director. It stars Jessie Buckley, our precious Jessie Buckley, who is again marvelous in this, and Christian Bale doing his usual. He's great, and then it also stars Annette Bening, who is fabulous, Jake Gyllenhaal, Penelope Cruz, and also Peter Sarsgaard, who is the husband of Maggie Gyllenhaal, and so it's a family affair, and it's. I just wish I had more positive things to say about it. So let's start with the good stuff. The premise is so it draws inspiration from 1937 classic The Bride of Frankenstein, and of course the enduring theme of the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But it isn't actually a retelling. It's more of like her own interpretation, a kind of Me Too-ish interpretation of The Bride of Frankenstein. And that is where the problem is that it's not very coherent in what it wants to be. I feel like there are too many things going on at the same time. So in the world of The Bride, so it's 1930s Chicago, and Frankenstein's monster, played by Christian Bale, his name in here is Frank, or he's called Frank because they want to shorten his name to keep him anonymous. He approaches Dr. Euphronius, who is played by Annette Bening, brilliant Annette Bening, looking for a companion. He wants a bride. He wants a wife. He's never had one in his life. He's been alive for a very long time, over 100 years, but he feels very lonely. He's stared at, sneered at. People are horrified by him. And then what happens is that him and the doctor go and find a fresh dead body from a cemetery, unearth it, and out comes the bride, played by Jessie Buckley, and she's. We see at the beginning of the movie, actually, there is an introduction by Buckley, who plays Mary Shelley from the other realm, from the realm of the dead, and she kind of possesses her. She's like one of those. As I say, 1930s Chicago. It's like, people are having fun. They're out in bars and clubs and, like, drinking and, having fun, and she's a mobster's mole, and she dares to sort of have a voice, and she's suddenly possessed by Mary Shelley, and then things happen and she ends up dead. And then when she wakes up, she's horrified. She just doesn't remember who she is. She doesn't know why she's dead. And actually, they don't even tell her that she's dead. They just tell her, "You are the bride of this guy who's called Frank," and she doesn't know that she's been brought back from the dead. I think what I want to say mostly is that it is as messy as I am. Like, like when you hear me saying all those words, you just think, what's going on here? It's very messy thematically. It's very messy story wise. It wants to do so many things at the same time. What happens is that when the two of them get together, they completely fall in love with each other, and they feel sort of emboldened by each other's powers, and they go on a killing spree in the same vein as Bonnie and Clyde. So it does turn into Bonnie and Clyde suddenly. There are also other things that it alludes to. For me, I saw Ellie Udell, Last Exit to Brooklyn, in it, because she looks very much like, in her physicality, she's dressed in this kind of like red dress, and she's like disheveled. She looks very much like Tralala in Last Exit to Brooklyn. There's even a sort of attempted rape that really, looks very much like the famous rape scene in that movie. As I say, there are too many things going on here, too much. It looks beautiful, and the needle drops are anachronistic, and there's also a really good soundtrack, the really good score here. But at the same time, I feel like it's a movie that can't decide what story it wants to tell. There are too many ramifications. There is like this kind of police detective duo played by Peter Skarsgård and Penelope Cruz. I wanted to see that movie. I'm not interested in reimagining. Oh, and also there's like some really heavy-handed kind of Me Too references, to the point where at the end of the movie she actually utters "Me too, me too." Yeah, it's very messy. However, I wasn't bored. I just wanted to stay with it, and I wanted to. I really loved those characters, and I just wish I'd got more out of them. I wish I'd got more out of the movie itself, the story itself. And if you're going to make a movie about Me Too, about women being treated as commodity, she's a commodity because she's only been created to be the wife for him, and she is as shocked as she is by that, she understands it. And I felt like, if you're going to make a movie that has that kind of like tone, and or wants to work with those kind of themes, don't make it so obvious. Make it more. It just feels a bit heavy-handed on the you know, on the sort of cliches. Having said that, I think it's worth going to see for the performances and for actually her direction. The direction is really good, and I would like to see more of her. I think I'd like to see her direct something like a DC movie, because it did have loads of DC kind of sensibilities. I think I'd like to see her do that. Yeah, and that's all I have to say, really. It's not great, but I gave it 5 stars in my written review, and I stand by that because it's not a throwaway movie. It's not completely to throw away. I think there's enough there to warrant us going to see it. It just isn't very good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, that's a shame, but I have to say, I don't feel entirely surprised. I desperately try not to prejudge films, but from the first trailer, I thought, I don't know about this. It's got a whiff of shambles about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
shame.
I was looking forward to it. I was like, I like a movie. I was talking about this to a few friends after the screening, and I was just saying, I would rather watch this than a bunch of sort of like weekly horror movies, like made in Hollywood that you watch them once and you forget you've ever seen them before. And like for me, there is a lot here that works, but there's more of it that doesn't work. That doesn't mean that the movie is completely to be ignored. And that's the beauty of cinema, you know?
Yeah, and it sounds like it's not so bad that it risks endangering Jessie Buckley's Oscar run,
No, no.
like sort of Eddie Murphy and Dreamgirls followed up by Norbit sort of thing. So,
No, because I tell you why, because she's really good in this, because she's
mm,
playing two kind of characters inhabiting the same body. You know, she is the posh Mary Shelley. She's doing this Mary Shelley kind of like beyond the grave and kind of like fed up of having been, having had her story kind of bastardized by all and sundry, and also but she's also playing this kind of like very modern girl, modern as in like 1930s modern, who uh, finds herself in a world where women are just, as I say, throwaway. She's
mm,
basically a monster. She's a mobster's mole who finds herself in a position where her death is being ordered, basically. So, uh, uh, and women around that time, especially if there were like, very modern women, were almost considered not just as commodities, but as throwaway.
mm,
And for me, that's where the Julia Adele's At Last Exit to Brooklyn comes into it, because the trial line Last Exit to Brooklyn is a woman. It's actually more like 1950s, the early 1950s, and she's a woman who knows exactly what she wants from life, but every man she meets only wants her for one thing, and she's the ultimate tragic fallen woman. And I think The Bride is in that same kind of vein.
okay. And it feels like a while actually since we've seen Christian Bale. I don't know if that's true or that's just me. Oh no, yeah, it's his first film in 3 years, which
Yeah.
is quite surprising. I suppose there's probably a whole heap of Bale film projects coming our way, all in a bunch as they tend to with actors.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't really said much about Christian Bale's performance, but we know that Christian Bale is a good actor, so like it's nothing new. It's brilliant. I just wanted to concentrate on Buckley's performance because I think she's really fabulous in here, and I don't think it's going to harm her chances at the Oscars, because
No.
if anything, she's demonstrating once again that she is as brilliant as we all think she is.
Absolutely, and of course she's a titular character, so that's absolutely fine. And as you say, he's amazing. Although I did look up his career whilst you were talking, and he's only won one Oscar, which really surprises me.
Yeah,
Won the supporting Oscar for the fighter, and that's it. But
it's so strange.
yeah, yeah, it really is. But anyway, plenty of time, Christian. Don't worry. Right, well, thank you very much, Linda. And what do we have for you next? We have the movie news.
Meet me in the foyer.
So, what's in the movie news, if I could say it? First up, rental family director Hikari is set to release an Apple-produced Christmas movie called Foster the Snowman, the story of a couple without children forced to foster a snowman and deal with its accelerated life cycle.
Oh,
That
that
caught my
sounds really cute.
it does. It caught my eye actually because I only watched Rental Family 2 nights ago, I think it was. Finally
What
caught
did
up
you
with that.
think?
It was sounds really mean, but it's kind of like to me, it was like the definition of okay.
Yeah.
I seem to recall you saying something like it feels like it has something to say, but doesn't quite do it.
Yeah, it's very lost in translation, loads of it. It's a Japanese director directing a story about an English American man living in Japan. So like I don't think she quite gets that kind of like a foreigner in the strange land kind of feeling about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I think he's really fabulous in this movie, and it's completely understandable what that film ended up not doing much in this award season. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it actually there. Maybe a non-Japanese director would have done it better because they would also be a fish out of water and be able to tell it from that point of view. Whereas it seems ironic that a story about a man dealing with a sort of what you could consider a sort of uptight, repressed culture, the film feels a bit uptight and repressed as well. So but not terrible at all. We have a trailer for Pretty Lethal, Vicky Dewson's new bloody action thriller starring Uma Thurman, due to hit Prime Video on the 25th of March.
Inside every ballerina's heart beats the blood of a warrior. They turn pain into beauty, chaos into precision.
Is it possible for you to stop being a jerk for like 2 minutes?
Bite me, Bones. The Budapest showcase could change your life.
Only the world's best dancers get invited.
Does anyone have any service?
No way, this is my kind of place.
You have big show, yeah? I used to be a dancer. Years of dedication, pain. But not everyone achieves their dream.
Girls, get your things. We need to get out of here.
Enough madness.
We have to get out of here.
No one is coming to save us.
You're not going anywhere, ballerina.
Hey!
I'm not strong enough.
We're prima ballerinas, so don't tell me you're not strong.
I'm sorry!
Don't apologize to him!
There are naughty little girls in the house. Find them and silence them.
Move. I'll get us out of here ASAP. Does anyone know how to use this caveman crap? Shh.
The only way out is together. You mother...
That toe blade is sick. I must have one.
Austin Butler has got back on his bike and looked for work and found it in another biopic. This time he'll be starring as Tour de France cheat Lance Armstrong in Edward Berger's new Apple-produced film, but is at this time untitled and undated for release.
Really, didn't what's his name? Someone play Lance Armstrong not that long ago? Hang on, I'm gonna look it up. Sorry, guys. Ben Foster, that's it. That's who he starred. And I thought I love Ben Foster. I think he is such a fantastic actor, and we don't see him in enough things. And the program was actually 2015. So
yeah, it's nearly
10 years
11 years old.
11 years old.
Frightening. Yeah, I quite like that one, I have to say. I did like,
Really
as a cyclist, I do have a bit of a soft spot for cycling movies. There's a Johnny Lee Miller one called The Flying Scotsman, which I quite like as well. We have a trailer for Steven Soderbergh's new crime comedy, The Christophers, starring Sir Ian McKellen, which is due to hit cinemas on the 15th of May.
Other door.
You said this was a restoration job. It's a forgery job.
We know why you hate him.
Think of this as a way to get revenge.
This isn't about the unfinished Christophers, is it? Please don't even speak of them. Everybody knows what one original Julian Sklar from that period is worth.
I lied. You are to speak of them once, when you tell me they are no more. And then bring me the evidence. It's not that I don't trust you, Laurie. It's just that I don't trust you. Have you ever been betrayed, Laurie?
I was hired by Barnaby and Sally to complete the unfinished Christophers.
And what makes you think that you could do it?
I guess that's where the art of it comes in.
Oh, pooh.
The first Christopher series, there's a delicacy, colours warm with each successive layer. In the third and fourth, the light got denser and the oils thickened. There was a liftedness. You were falling in love, and for the first time, you were free.
I have a relationship with the canvas. And when I've said what I've got to say to it, take that, it goes.
Where do you think it goes?
I thought that I'd seen it before. Did I cause you to quit?
Do what you want. You can take them out, you can burn them.
Don't leave me. Even after all of the mess, I should have liked to have lasted. To last in the mind of others. You know, I was once in a throuple, back when it was merely called infidelity.
No, that... Never mind.
Oh.
Which is great because he's doing one a year now, isn't he? Because he did Black Bag last year, which was great, and this new one as well to look out for. No, looking forward to that, absolutely. What else? Tom McCarthy, director of Spotlight's new film, a darkly comic drama, has cast Paul Rudd, Evan Peters, and Amy Ryan, as well as Paul Giamatti and John Turturro. It's an adaptation of Nathaniel Rich's climate crisis bestseller, Losing Earth, and that's due to start filming next month.
Oh.
We have a trailer for Nathaniel Wilson's In a Violent Nature 2. But I don't have a release date for that, so just enjoy the trailer and find it yourselves.
Got your eye on any of these girls around here?
What the? I saw Johnny.
If this is a prank, you need to tell me.
He's gotta go now.
I can't actually remember anything about A Violent Nature 1, to be honest.
No, the only
Sure,
thing I
I've
know
seen
about
it.
it is that he didn't direct it, so it's not my wheelhouse, shall we say?
Absolutely not a clue. Genuinely, I couldn't tell you what it's about.
Yeah, I saw the pictures and thought that looks like a grim horror film,
Yeah.
so that's not going on the list. But a Game of Thrones movie is in development at Warner Bros. Rumor has it it'll be a prequel, which is a bit confusing as The House of Dragon and A Knight of Seven Kingdoms are both prequels, but this will seemingly be a prequel to both of those two. Beau Willimon of Andor fame has produced a script draft, so we'll wait to see what further news we can share with you. I mean, it's going to be big budget and lots of money, but hopefully more on the Game of Thrones side than the House of Dragon, because my God, House of Dragon is terrible. We return to Scream news, sort of, with the Scream franchise sadly dragging its mutilated corpse back into cinemas. It was inevitable that its spoof Scary Movie would also rise from the dead, and we have a trailer for the 6th entry in the Wayans Brothers canon, due in cinemas on the 12th of June.
shit.
My God, he stabbed her! Not her! My pronouns are they, them. He stabbed them!
We back.
There's a serial killer on the loose.
Hello, Tuesday.
I had been preparing for this for years.
Hello, Mother. You look like shit.
Should we hug? I really want to, but I'm a Republican now, so I'm supposed to be racist.
Oh, girl, I think all white people are racist anyway. Come here.
Okay. Oh.
Hey there. We heard tell of a Halloween party. We're here to drink, play bad music, do some half gay shit.
Why just half gay?
Sink.
Stop smiling!
Run, bitch, run!
Mom, Santa gave me a severed arm.
Be sure to thank him.
What the?
Somebody help! Help! Bitch! We on break! So you handle yours. I'll be right over here eating my falafel and my pork rinds. Bitch!
You know, I'd rather watch that than watch Scream again, honestly. I mean, Scream 7, not Scream. I love those movies, and I know those people are very sort of like snobby about them. I really genuinely am a massive fan of that franchise. So still, I think this latest one, the Scream 7, is probably the worst one of the lot.
Well, count me in amongst the snobs. I'm afraid I can't never get on board with Scary Movie all the way in Brothers. So, but you know,
No, I meant Scream. I was talking about the Scream.
Oh, I see. My apologies. It looks like Paramount is set to win the battle for Warner Brothers with their improved offer, and Netflix now backing out of the deal. Whilst there are pros and cons to each deal, and many have negative feelings towards Paramount, a streaming service not absorbing one of the oldest film studios seems on the face of it to be a good thing. But we shall see. I mean, I have picked up sort of a feeling online of a lot of people having quite negative opinions of Paramount. But as I said,
There's a reason for that. Do you mind if I?
No, go for it.
So the Paramount is owned by the Ellison family, and the Ellison family are big donors to Donald Trump and to the Republican Party. And it's because of them that Jimmy Kimmel and the people like Stephen Colbert are getting into trouble because they own, I don't know if they own, I think they own CBS, and they own loads of and people are thinking if they end up also owning WB as well as oh my God, what's it called?
HBO will be there.
HBO. If they end up owning those, then there's going to be absolutely no say in what they can, what kind of movies or what kind of shows people will be making. I don't believe that. When it comes to cinema and it comes to think, I feel like nobody wants to mess around with those things because they are a money earner. And what do we know about billionaires? All they want is to be richer and to make more money. I don't think that. Personally, I've said from the beginning, I think it's really bad that Ellison owns all of these things because I don't like one person being in charge of everything. I think it's really bad. It's detrimental to the whole industry. However, what I do think is Paramount's been making movies for decades. They know how to make movies. They know how to make money in cinema. And more importantly, they are keeping films in cinemas, in theaters. For me, that is really important. I know I made a video on TikTok where I was explaining why, for me, that is the better solution to rather than Netflix. But at the same time, so loads of people kind of saying, "Oh, yeah, but they are more dangerous because it's really not good." Politically, they are more dangerous, and I feel like if they don't touch the sort of the content of what movies or shows are being made, I don't think that matters too much. In my opinion, I just think Netflix were never gonna keep it. They promised to keep them in cinemas, but then there was going to always be, a revision of the contract, and after a while, everything was going to end up on their platform. There was no reason for it not to happen. So I am glad that Netflix didn't get it, and I hope Netflix are not listening. I'm glad Netflix are not getting it because I don't think they deserve it. I think they want the death of cinema as it is right now, and I don't think they deserve to have a big studio as big as WB.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And of course, when you find channels and production houses censuring people, someone else will step in and say, well, why don't you come over to us? And, they'll always find a way, I think, to
also, look, we've had some of the best movies made in the McCarthy era. People will make movies and give they will become more inventive in the way they want to put forward their ideas. I think this could be great. Genuinely, I think 50s is extremely rich sort of, a decade of movie making because people were trying to find different ways of expressing themselves and saying things that they couldn't say. And when you see like a country like Iran, where the Iranian movie industry over there, they keep winning everything because they are so inventive with the way they want to say stuff without saying it. And I'm not saying being censored is a good thing. I'm just saying, like, if you have a good idea and you want to make a movie and you want to be critical of the regime, you will get your idea through. We're not stupid. So, yeah.
That's such a great point. It's so true that under times like that, they find analogies and metaphors that just make the films even better, subtle meanings and art finds a way. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I'm sorry to go on. And also under Franco, Spain had some of its best movies, like, and they were movies because, it's film makers get to experiment with more things when their hands are tied, and no artist's hands are really tied ever.
Well, that's one silver lining then, I guess. If Remain get in at the next election, we'll have some fabulous films coming out in the years following. It's a horrible nightmare. Sorry. And last of all, this week we have a trailer for Ben David Grabinski's new sci-fi action comedy, Mike and Nick and Alice, starring Vince Vaughn, James Marsden, and Isa Gonzalez, due on Disney Plus, I should say, on the 27th of March.
Open the glove compartment. What's this? It's chloroform. What? You don't know what chloroform is? Should I know what chloroform is? Have you ever seen a movie? Yeah, I've seen many movies. And have you ever seen a movie with chloroform in it? I don't know. Okay, just listen to me. You're gonna ring the doorbell. Somebody's gonna answer the door. Before they can get out a single word, you take that rag that's soaked in that shit and you cover their nose and their mouth.
Oh, that's chloroform. That's chloroform? You could have just said the wet rag thing. It made it easier.
Fine, great. Do what you call the wet rag thing. Hey, Mike.
This is confusing!
What the fuck are you doing?
This is your idea!
What's happening? I'm you, but I'm from the future. I came back in a time machine. You sound insane. No, I understand. I want to try to right some wrongs here, but there's a person that could fuck this whole thing up, and that person is me. I thought you were a clone.
Well, clones aren't real, dummy.
And time machines are super grounded in reality. Yeah, obviously. The first time that we went through tonight, Mike died.
Oh, fuck.
But that's why I'm back. We get one chance to fix it.
Okay, so who killed me?
Have you ever heard of the Baron? He's a cannibal assassin.
Hello, hello, hello.
You look delicious.
I don't want to be eaten, Nick.
No, I agree, it's not an ideal situation.
Hey, Nick! Oh, come on, you killed the DJ?
It was a moment, and then accidentally, it was an accident, but then I shot him.
You accidentally shot him.
I shot him, and it wasn't on purpose.
And that's the news for this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
Time to return to Linda, and she takes a peek at Tom Harper's new crime drama starring Barry Keoghan, Stephen Graham, Tim Roth, Rebecca Ferguson, and Cillian Murphy as he reprises his role as Birmingham gangster Tommy Shelby in Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man.
Tommy, you live in a house haunted with ghosts of people who died because of you. You abandoned your kingdom, and you abandoned your son.
How does it feel to be a poor but hanging from a nail?
Your gypsy son is running the Peaky Blinders like it's 1919 all over again.
How could Sally's secrets that would turn you pale?
I can't help him because I'm not that man anymore.
I need to know that you are willing to take part in an act of treason that will decide this war for Germany.
The world don't give a fuck about me. And I don't give a fuck about the world.
I've heard you decided this wasn't your war.
It is now.
I'm looking for my son.
Who the fuck are you?
Everybody stay calm, because this man, ladies and gentlemen, is Tommy Shelby.
Who the fuck is Tommy Shelby?
Perhaps someone should explain to him who I am. Once, I nearly got fucking everything. But nearly doesn't count.
How does it feel to be a savage and a beast?
Linda.
Well, I mean, listen, I've not really watched Peaky Blinders beyond the first season, and not because I didn't like it. I genuinely really liked Peaky Blinders. I thought it was a fantastic series. I just never had the time to sit down and catch up. And by the time I really wanted to properly watch it, we were on season 6 or 7 or whatever it was. And I'm just too lazy to sort of go back and watch all of those things. Luckily, you don't have to have seen in all of those seasons to watch this movie. It really perfectly works as a standalone. And I'm so glad that it does, because I was so worried that it was going to be too many intricacies and ins and outs. And this is written by Stephen Knight. Stephen Knight knows what he's doing. He's just an absolutely brilliant writer. He's someone who understands audiences so well, that to the point of he understands cinema audiences as well, because he knows his sort of but taking on this really precious kind of series that people are very passionate about, and introducing it to a new audience that may never have not have seen the film series, the TV series. One thing is, I really like this. So this is from the start, and I think it's so well written. I think it's it is typical of the series, and it wants to make sort of play with the epicness of the original story, of the original source of it. But at the same time, I think it does such a fabulous job. Cillian Murphy, as it said, plays Tommy Shelby. This is set in sort of the time of the Blitz, where London, Birmingham, Liverpool are all being bombed to smithereens by the Nazis. The Nazis also have this plan, which is working with the fascists in England, in the UK, for the Fascist National Party, or whatever it's called, and they want to flood the market with fake banknotes, and as a way of bringing the economy down and making it a lot easier for them to invade the UK. And for some reason, Duke Shelby, who is the son of Tommy Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy. Duke is played by Barry Keoghan. Erasmus. Oh, is he called Erasmus? I think he's just called Duke actually in the movie. Maybe he's called Erasmus. I don't know. Yeah. So he finds himself. He's like Tommy has left Birmingham. He's living in this massive house out in the countryside, surrounded by ghosts, surrounded, by his dead brothers, ghosts, his daughter, the love of his life, or that he's lost. And he's living in this house all by himself. Everyone's deserted him. He's writing a book about his life to try and exorcise these demons. And so he's a man falling apart, but at the same time, he wants to die, but can't seem to find a way of doing it to himself. Back in Birmingham, Duke, or Erasmus, or whatever you want to call him, played by Barry Keoghan, brilliant Barry Keoghan. I don't care what anyone says. This guy is going to win an Oscar one day, and there's absolutely no ifs and buts about it. He is so good in this. He's a rebellious son to his father. He's half gypsy, and therefore, actually, both of them are gypsy. Like Tommy's also from Irish gypsy descent, but he's Duke is his mum is Romany gypsy, or like Roman gypsies, a Roma gypsy. So they have their own language, and they have their own set of sort of rules they go by. He's been brought in by Tim Roth's this mysterious Beckett, who is working with the Nazis to sink the economy, and he offers him 70 million pounds to basically take all of the money. That can't remember how much it was. Take all of the money and spread it about in the UK to make sure that it's so. He finds that he's got himself into a bit of a place where he's in, with people who are absolutely ruthless, the fascists, and they're people whose secret he cannot divulge. And at one point, Ada, the sister of Tommy, goes to visit him in his house and tells him, look, you're really going to have to come back to Birmingham, because your son is up to no good. He's he's going to get either killed or put in prison, because the things that he's doing are completely not on, especially in a crisis and of a war where everyone is meant to be helping the country. He's doing the exact opposite. He's stealing drugs from the hospitals. He's dealing with that. He's stealing arms, and so he's like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to go. And then eventually he decides to go back, and I'll leave it there, because there are some things that happened to really important cast members important characters that I don't want to divulge. And I think this is why it's been like properly embargoed, because some people die in this, and I do not want to tell you who those people are. I thought this was really well done. Stephen Graham is also in this, and Stephen Graham has worked closely with Stephen Knight for so many years now. They really know their thing. Stephen Graham plays a kind of a union boss in Liverpool's docks. A character written for him, if anything, nothing else. He's fabulous. I just wish he was there for longer. I thought this was so well done and so brilliantly performed, and I was not bored for 1 second. It does have that kind of whiff of TV to it, but it is a Netflix movie, and it's a movie that's going to be in cinemas for a couple of weeks, and then it will end up going onto Netflix soon. Really well done. Having said all of that about Netflix before, they still know how to make good movies, and mostly because of the writing, and Steve Knight's writing, and Stephen Knight really knows. He's really good at researching his stuff. Cillian Murphy, I have nothing more to add really. Cillian Murphy is Cillian Murphy. Barry Keoghan is incredible in this. That's it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was intrigued to know whether it felt like a cinematic movie, and a little bit of both, maybe from your review. I can't really contribute much. I've never watched a single minute of Peaky Blinders, so I really know nothing.
You know what it looks like.
I do, yes.
Yeah, in passing, yeah.
It's kind of like the British Boardwalk Empire. I kind of felt like, which I really loved.
Love Boardwalk Empire.
Such a great series.
Such
Yes.
a
Another one with Stephen Graham in it, actually.
Yeah.
And he was fabulous in that.
So good.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I might catch that. This is set after the series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's set in the 40s. So the series, I think it was like early late teens, late 90s, like tens, late tens or something. Anyway, I can't actually remember, because I've not. As I say, I watched the first season from start to finish. Absolutely loved it. I just could not commit to 6 more seasons. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I might catch it. I suppose I looked, and it's because it's English, not American. There's only 36 episodes.
Yeah.
And of course, I was just looking there at the director, trying to get a look at his career, and he directed Wild Rose, which was Jessie Buckley's breakthrough film as well. Going back to Buckley. Fabulous. Well, thank you very much, Linda.
Yeah, I just want to really briefly talk about this new Pixar movie, Hoppers, coming out also this Friday. Generally, I'm not going to give you a full review.
This is King George's Do's and Don'ts Hoppers Edition. Do speak the language.
Come on.
Excuse me, I have some things I'd like to say.
Hoppers is Pixar's funniest movie ever.
Now we party.
Grab your friends because
Tickets are available now.
uh-oh, it's Pixar's
Oh my.
funniest
No.
movie ever.
Oh, it's Diane. She's actually super nice.
Hi.
Hoppers is the funniest movie of the year.
I offer you my soothing oils.
It's Pixar's funniest movie ever and the best Pixar movie since Inside Out.
I have some things I'd like to say.
Lizard. Here we go.
On March 6th comes Pixar's funniest movie ever.
Attend me as I pupate.
That was gross. There he is.
What are you doing?
Drive now, Jerry.
You know my name?
Oh, oofa!
What? Ah!
Relax, everyone. I'll take care of this.
Today is my day.
Today is my day. It is not your day.
Today is my day.
Today is my day. It is not your day.
Today is my day.
Today is my day. It is not your day.
My mother lives here. Why are you so quiet? You're freaking me out. What? No. Game over, man. Okay. Couple of these.
Beaver. Chopped wood logs. Loaf of bread.
Keyboard. Pants. Chart increasing. Rocket ship.
Bag of money.
Rainbow.
Potato.
Beaver. Fortnite. 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 Thursday.
It's directed by Daniel Chong, and it's got voice performances by Piper Curda, Bobby Moynihan, John Hamm, Kathy Maney, and Dave Franco, and it's really funny. It's about this kind of young environmentalist who wants to save a nature spot in her town, and to do so she must, it's very much like Avatar, she must inhabit this kind of a fake robotic beaver. Basically, her brain is transported into this robotic beaver, and she's let out into the beauty spot, and things happen, and excitement, and storyline, and lots of laughs, and very clever innuendo. It's so well done. It's beautiful, and it's like a Pixar movie that is likely to do extremely well. It's had some unbelievably positive reviews, I think. Better, as much as I loved Elio, and I loved Elio, and Elio was even nominated for awards. I think this is probably likely to win an Oscar. So I just think this is really good. It's really funny, and it's lovely, very cute.
Fantastic! Wow, it's always good news when there's a new Pixar film on the roster. No, looking forward to that one. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, a little cheeky bonus there for you, which is always nice.
Meet me in the foyer.
Time now for another of Jawa's classic movie moments. And this week I'm crafting a review of a film celebrating its 65th anniversary. People told me I couldn't and shouldn't do it, but I won't be told. I do what I want, for I am the rebel.
Goodbye! You represent 14 years of sheer misery. Every man must find his own salvation. Live life as it's supposed to be lived, and you're choking me. You're choking me. You're choking me.
An inner tumult that cries out against the humdrum ways of ordinary men.
Choking me.
A longing to release the raging fires within. This is the man you see before you. Hancock the rebel. Hancock the creator.
Oh, you voluptuous Jezebel! My Aphrodite. Go on, I'm gonna win her here, mate.
Here was an artist with a soul who sought escape and appreciation. And in Paris, that city of beauty and culture, he found it.
No! That's our protege, Mush. Can't you read?
Tony Hancock as the rebel, the man who puts the left bank right. George Saunders as Sir Charles Brewer, patron of the arts, the man who discovers the wrong genius.
Quite exceptional. I particularly like the texture of the hair. Yes, I rather like the hair. Those are feathers. I don't paint hairy birds.
Paul Massey, the struggling artist who shares his attic studio with Hancock.
I've had a canvas 12 foot by 8, filled in, framed and flogged before the first dabbers dried.
It's not like that with me. Every brushstroke is torn out of my body.
Margaret Sard as a millionaire's wife with a hankering after Hancock.
It's such a change to have a young man in my arms.
I've aged about 5 years in the last 10 minutes. Look, do you mind if we sit down? My dogs are barking.
And a host of other colourful stars. Dennis Price as a priceless surrealist. Irene Handl, the landlady who doesn't appreciate art.
What's that?
That is Aphrodite at the waterhole.
It's disgusting.
See Hancock, the action painter, in action. The rebel, the impressionist. And who else but Hancock could make such an impression?
Is that loaded?
2 bullets. One for you and one for me.
Yes, well, you can have mine as well. I'm not particular. You're all raving mad! look at that? Extraordinary fellow. Yes.
So from the sublime of Taxi Driver last week to the ridiculousness of Tony Hancock's The Rebel this. Not so much a rebel without a cause as an easel rider. You see what I did there?
Rebel without a clue.
Yes, more appropriate. So The Rebel, what is The Rebel? It's a 1961 British satirical comedy film directed by Robert Day and starring Tony Hancock. It was written by Ray Galton and Alan Simpson, of course, who wrote all the episodes of his fantastic Hancock's Half Hour, and then went on to write Steptoe and Son, which is almost equally brilliant. And it concerns the clash between the bourgeois and the bohemian cultures in the art world. So Tony Hancock, playing Tony, a disaffected London office clerk who catches the train to Waterloo Station every morning. Each commuter wears a bowler hat and carries an umbrella. In the city, Tony is one of many identical clerks in a dull office, but he rebels by hanging his umbrella the opposite way to those of his colleagues. One day his boss catches him drawing faces instead of working, and he's asked to produce his ledgers, which are full of poor quality caricatures. Back at his mid-terraced Victorian house lodgings, Tony dons his artist's smock and resumes work on Aphrodite at the Waterhole, a horrendous and huge sculpture. His landlady, Mrs. Cravat, complains about the hammering noise. He explains he cannot afford a model and it represents women as I see them. She threatens to evict him if he does not remove the statue. Then at a local cafe, he orders a coffee with no froth. Inspired by a poster on the wall, Tony decides to go to Paris. He takes a train to Dover with his Aphrodite on a wagon to the rear. And I'll leave it there. It stars Tony Hancock as Anthony Hancock, George Sanders as Sir Charles Broward, Paul Macy as Paul, Marguerite Sade as Margot, Gregor Aslan as Carreras, Dennis Price as Jim Smith, Irene Handl as Mrs. Cravat, John Le Mesurier as the office manager, Liz Fraser as a waitress, Mervyn Johns as a manager of an art gallery, Peter Bull as another manager of an art gallery, Nanette Newman as Josie, Oliver Reed in possibly his first screen appearance as an artist, and Mario Fabrizi as a coffee bar attendant. Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of British films were made in this period. And I was thinking when watching it, you'd be forgiven for thinking there were only about 50 actors working in Britain at the time, because you see the same faces again and again and again. And I'm not against that, but I have this funny feeling that you weren't legally allowed to make a film without John Le Mesurier and Liz Fraser in them. And here they both are. I won't pretend the film's a masterpiece, but my reasons for including it go deeper than one film. You know, I've loved Tony Hancock since I was a child. He's absolutely my hero. And whilst this film, as I say, is no masterwork, if you love Tony Hancock, you should watch it. And if you like a British comedy, then I recommend it. Starts with a nice, clever physical gag, a nice sort of set piece moment. And with the sort of shrewd trick that Tony plays in this opening scene, you think this guy's going to be a huge business success. But no, because as with all the characters Tony Hancock played, he's sort of downtrodden by life and the sort of drudgery, and his genius not being recognized, I think, is often his motivator. So it has an inner voice monologue where you get Hancock sort of typical gloomy, what I call finding the cloud in a silver lining sort of mentality, especially as he looks around and assesses everyone else in the carriage, and you get that sort of typical Hancock thinks he's better than everybody, essentially. So he's a clerk checking figures, drone-like. It's a lovely sort of set piece moment. We get this long office row of everyone dressed the same and absolutely in sync, stamping pages and turning pages over on their ledgers. It's got a little bit of The Apartment about it in that respect, in these gigantic offices full of clerks that doing jobs that these days are done by a computer in a couple of seconds. But he just won't be sort of suppressed and repressed by the rules. And he has these little rebellions, and then he has his huge breakout moment about 20 minutes into the film. It's a film that tried to transfer Hancock's comedy from the radio and television series onto the big screen. And there are a couple of the regular supporting characters, as I've already mentioned, John Le Mesurier, Liz Fraser, and Mario Fabrizi. Um, and he sort of there are nice gags in there where he's at one moment he's sat in a cafe in France saying that he couldn't carry on being a drone and being dressed identically and wearing the uniform of a commuter to a table of people all nodding and going, yeah, very wise, who are all dressed exactly the same as these new modern artists, all in their black sweaters and identical. Yeah. It has sort of existential themes that mock Parisian intellectual life and also English middle class life. Galton and Simpson have slightly used some elements from Hancock's half-hour episodes they wrote, such as the Poetry Society is one where Hancock tries to imitate the lifestyle of pretentious poets and fails, and then becomes infuriated when his idiot friend Bill does the same and wins their approval. And there's also another episode I can't remember the name of where he does sculpt Miss Pugh, played by Hattie Jakes. A wonderful moment where he's got her sort of winched up to the ceiling so he can portray her as a nymph. It also parodies modern art because there's a scene in the middle where Hancock decides to do a big piece and he splashes paint on the canvas on the floor and then rides about on his bicycle across it and does a bit of tap dance and soft shoe shuffle. Which he refers to as the infantile school or the shapist school, parodying the naive style of art. And then in 2002, the London Institute of Pataphysics organised an exhibition consisting of recreations of all the artwork seen in the film, although they still dispute whether the drawings and paintings attributed to Hancock and his roommate were produced by Alistair Grant or the British modernist John Bratby. So slightly oddly, they don't know who actually produced the art in the film. So say Hancock, the character, this was a period you still see it a little bit these days, but more. I think the more modern way of acting in comedy, especially, is you have to constantly be looking for a new character, whereas back then you created your character and then you move that character through different projects and forms and did it that way. So Hancock was always Hancock. He was always the same man, even though the name changed. And in this, he's a man who sort of fears and frets over the meaning of his existence and his purpose in life. He's terrified of his insignificance and is incredibly pretentious. He becomes obsessive about his latest interests, and then he's obsessed with being an artist. He's conceited, he's arrogant, or perhaps he's simple enough to delude himself that he's an unrecognized genius. Anyone who criticizes his work is an uncultured buffoon or imbecile. I think my favorite moment in the film is actually a moment where he's trying to justify his choices and his art to a cow that's in the flat with him. And he has this whole conversation to this cow who eventually just sort of rolls its eyes and walks away in a lovely moment. And then he sort of chances into success by a confusion with his flatmate's artwork being confused for his. And at this point, he becomes this sort of hilarious egomaniacal monster who appears at art shows wearing a trilby and a cigar and a holder, a cigarette, sorry, in a holder and a cape, and just becomes an absolute nightmare. So, I mean, just to give a bit of background on Hancock himself, he was a comedian actor. He had a huge profile in the 50s and 60s, had massive success with his Hancock's half-hour radio show that started in 1954 and then went on to television in 56. He worked with people like Sid James and Bill Kerr and Hattie Jakes, who I've already mentioned. But then in the early 60s, he decided to cut all of the supporting characters out. Although it disappointed lots of people, the series carried on and was really successful, had some of its best episodes once he went solo. Although he did end up then eventually moving away from the writers Galton and Simpson later that year, and at that point his career declined. And he was nominated for twice for the BAFTA Award for Light Entertainment in 58 and 60. and was nominated again actually for this performance in this film. It was the sixth most popular film at the UK box office in 1961, and Kinematograph Weekly called it a moneymaker at the British box office. Unfortunately, on its American release, it was a utter bomb. It wasn't well received. They changed the title to Call Me Genius because apparently there's an American TV series of the same name as The Rebel. And Bosley Crowther, who I've never heard of, wrote in the New York Times, Norman Wisdom can move over. The British have found a new low comedian who is every bit as low as he is and even less comical, which is harsh, I have to say. I mean, I did grow up watching Norman Wisdom films as a kid, but I can't stand them now, to be honest. He just really gets on my nerves. And Hancock, I just think, is an absolute genius. Whilst a writer for the BFI, Screen Online, wrote, in this film, comic rebellion places artists at the antithesis of workers, and there is a kind of lazy shorthand at work that conflates artists with Paris, existentialism, angry young men, beatniks, and beat poets. Cod philosophical discussions of what art is about permeate the film, but this reflects the times accurately. Whilst Galton and Simpson said that in an interview in 2012 that Lucian Freud apparently described it as the best film ever about modern art. So, all sorts of opinions on this one. It was planned to be released in 1960, but because of the success of Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, they couldn't find any screens to actually release it into. So it was held back for 3 months and came out in March of 61 to fairly mediocre takings. Writers Galton and Simpson suggested a cameo role for Tony's up until recently, before then, co-star Sid James, but he vetoed the idea as he wanted to move on from that. So, as I say, it's no masterwork, but Hancock only made 5 films, and he only played the lead in 2 of them. And so, really, I think this is worth a watch. I loved Hancock since I was a child. We used to listen to Hancock's Half Hour in the car on family trips, and it's the genesis of the sitcom as we know it. Galton and Simpson created Hancock's Half Hour. They created the character of Hancock, and then he took it on and sort of filled it out and made it real. He portrayed a sort of downtrodden, frustrated everyman with illusions of grandeur and delusions about his talents, whilst always worrying about his significance, his lack of recognition, and also longing for love. So many people have imitated the format since, the format of the sitcom and the format of that character. It's such a British trope now to have a character like that who feels unrecognized and worn down by ordinary drudgery. Even Reginald Perrin and characters like that, or the British Empire, or endless characters are so like that. Even The Office and things like that have the sort of doff their cap to Hancock's Half Hour. I think very few have managed to capture the balancing act of creating and keeping a character who is at times arrogant, pretentious, bordering on ignorant, who remains likable and someone we can empathize with and want to spend time with. As I said, I keep saying Hancock, most of my life, been my hero, and he kind of reminds me of another one of my heroes, John Candy, in that they are lovable, ordinary men who get frustrated with life, but they do it in a way where, however much they're complaining, you still find them likable, which is a really impossible sort of bit of magic. They're sort of charismatic clowns, but they both have a sort of sadness about them as well. So as I say, he only made 5 films, or appeared in 5 films. The other one we played the lead being the Punch and Judy Man, which I recommend as well. The problem with Hancock was he became obsessed with realism. He wanted his characters to be real. He wanted them to appear in real situations. He didn't want to rely on catchphrases and silly voices, which is the reason why he ended up ditching his supporting cast of Hattie Jacques, Bill Kerr, Kenneth Williams and Sid James, which led Spike Milligan to say, he was a very difficult man to get on with. He used to drink excessively. You felt sorry for him. He ended up on his own. I thought he's got rid of everybody else. He's going to get rid of himself. And he did. Unfortunately, Hancock would go on to die at only 44 in Australia whilst he was out there working. So, I mean, whilst Hancock's Sapphire didn't unduly suffer from people leaving or being told to leave, his career did go downwards after that. And as I say, left the writers who'd made him. And I think his obsession with realism, wanting to cut out everything that he felt was cliched or silly, is part of the reason this film isn't as good as it could have been. I think if he had been more open to comic moments, catchphrases, the supporting cast, then Galton and Simpson would have produced a better script for him and he would have produced a more satisfying film. But all that being said, it's an enjoyable film. It's a chance to see Hancock on film. And, you know, those opportunities are so few, it shouldn't be passed up. So eyes down for a full house and give the Rebel a chance, is what I say. There we go.
I've always had a soft spot for him, for Hancock, to be honest. I just think, you know, just the genius. And the fact that it wasn't really understood in America actually makes me like him even more, because I think his humor was just didn't translate to an American. I think it's all we may speak the same language, but we don't say the same words. We don't, and I don't mean just like, you know, we don't have the same kind of like references, and that's why it just didn't work in America, which is a bit sad, really, when you think about it. And to be completely dismissed in that way, and it's funny how the kind of comedy they always go for is more slapsticky, you know, like...
I mean, you're right. They do love that more because, of course, Peter Sellers went over to America and became an absolutely huge star, didn't he? But they liked him most when he was doing the slapstick and things like that, didn't they? I don't think he would have carried across. And I know what you mean about the same language, different culture, because I worry a lot that, because I'm a huge fan of British film, that... we're becoming closer and closer as nations in terms of culture, that we will lose our own culture. But there's so many great British films coming out, and you look at things like or people like Mackenzie Crook, you know, making this year. He's had the recent series, The Small Things, was it, on the BBC, which was great. And of course Detectorists, you couldn't get more British than that, you know. Absolutely. So there's still great British comedy and comedy movies coming out, and there's a film out coming very shortly, actually, isn't there, with Martin Clunes about Morris dancing, which you know,
I didn't know that.
it's very typically British looking comedy, but but yes, sadly, that's it for this week. I hope we've given you some food for thought as you head to the box office this week, and I hope we didn't peak too soon and you've had a blinding time. So whilst we remain rebels working outside the mainstream of movie criticism, hopefully you have cause to return next week to meet me in the foyer again. If you miss us in the meantime, don't be wedded to our main show. Subscribe to our Patreon. Listen to all our shows in full director's cut form. Treat yourself to any of our reviews in standalone form, and try our special episodes too. So it just remains for me to say thank you, Linda, for your wonderful work, and I wish you all the best for the week ahead. And to all of you, have a great week, take care, and we'll see you again in 7 days.
Adios.
Bye for now.
Subscribe now to help fans supporting food banks. Go to patreon.com/rock and roll football and look for your favourite club subscription pages and sign up with your favourite presenter. Rock and Roll Football. No adverts, no VAR, no limits.
Meet me in the foyer.
The Bride! Exclamation! Let me start. So, The Bride! I'm trying to say exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Okay. So, The Bride! Exclamation point! I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna get it.
We're gonna stay here all night till you get it right.